We're thankful. I want to first off acknowledge those who assisted in getting this done, especially the Mario Collins, which is the daughter of our own. What's her name back there again? I know who Glenda is. Glenda knows I know her well. But she's the daughter of Glenda. She did an extreme amount of work for us. She volunteered with my asking to do it free of charge. And she spent a lot of time in it. So she spent a lot of work hours in it and my calls and texting for things. And so I'm very thankful for her and the hard work she put into it. Roger also gave us some assistance. You're going to see his part. And Bill, we can't forget him for him and all the work that he did maintaining the website that we had. So we want to go through the website with you, give us your feedback. It is not complete yet. It is a living website. What's the handshake for? I'm sorry. It's still screaming. Yeah, I didn't shut the screen down. It's still screaming. You just got to hit camera 3 and take it to thing. Okay. So the first thing you're making me look bad up here. I'm talking about technology and it's not working and we can't help. Okay. So one of the things that we do have on our old website, but I wanted to make it more prominent on this website, was when there are special notices. I wanted this to be bold, I wanted it to be loud, I wanted it to be in your face, so you can't ignore it, you have to see it. So when there's a special notice of something happening, like the times we have ice, or we're going to have church inside, because if it's raining outside, we're going to have it on the inside, anything, we can put up as many notices as we want. So we have a special notice. In order to get past that special notice, you have to actually close the box. Technology people, you're making me look bad again. Believe me, I work back there with you. I know these things happen, but 1 second. Okay, so in order to get past it, you have to actually click the X in the top right corner of the box. Would you please do that for me? And that closes the notice, and then that allows you to go to the remainder of the website. So once you do that, believe me, this is not the website. Yeah, yeah, okay. And so there's our church. What we're going for is a very simple look, easily understand, explanatory. Now, one of the things that I thought of that I thought would be nice is that we always promote ourselves, and some of the things we promote ourselves is that we are a Bible-driven church, that Scripture guides the way that we act and behave in our lives. And so we're thankful for that. And so I decided that I thought it would be nice to have a scripture I use it as sort of a theme on every page, what we're all about. So if you scroll down on the home page, I actually asked Pastor to write what I'll call the four words of who we are. We've all told this story many times. I would encourage you to take time to read it. It's very interesting. But we also put up the flags from every country. And behind every country's flag, eventually when I get enough people who are going to give their testimony, are the testimonies of someone from every one of those countries. And one of the things I'm going to do that Bill has already started recording, we're going to actually even go further than that, and we're going to have a This Is Us. Some of you are familiar with that show that comes on TV called This Is Us, where we're going to have a This Is Us page where you can actually give your testimony about who you are. I noticed by attending funerals of some of our dearly departed members that we learned whole stories we didn't know anything about. So This Is Us will be a time for you to tell your story if you want to tell your story and you were not selected or asked to give your brief testimony behind one of the flags. Would you go to the Liberia flag for me, please, and bring that up? Click on that, scroll down, you'll see it down further. Right. To the right. Okay, open that. And then let that play.
I have the privilege of speaking with Moses Goudois. I shouldn't have given your name. I'll ask
Can you hear?
To give your name. Who are you and where are you from?
Well, my name, like you already said, my name is Moses Goudois, and I'm from Liberia, West Africa.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And were you born in Liberia, or
I was
went
born
there as a child?
No, I was born and reared in Liberia, in the northeastern part of Liberia. Liberia is a tiny little country in West Africa, about 38,000 square miles of area. And there where I was born and there where I was reared.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Tell me what you most appreciate about your home country. We are a church of more than 15 different nations. We are an international church, and every person brings to this Crossroads experience the flavor of their own country. What is it about Liberia you'd like us to know?
All right. We call ourselves Christian nation because the free slaves who came to Liberia in the 1800s were all Christians, or at least they professed to be Christ followers. And Liberia has been thoroughly evangelized, especially in the urban area. And our style of worship is very vibrant. We beat drums. We love to beat drums and dance, just like many Africans do. So that's the kind of thing that I like about my country. My country, we have been blessed that we have a very green country. We have very thick natural forests. We have rivers. And so there are a lot of wonderful things to get to know about Liberia and to see.
What language is the official language of Liberia?
Liberia actually has about 15 languages.
50? 50?
15.
15. Okay.
15 local vernaculars.
Yes.
But we all go to school in English.
Okay.
And there is a Liberian English which is a little bit different from what you normally know.
Oh.
So if I am speaking Liberian English and using the word that we use, you probably might not understand.
Okay. Are you a multilingual person? How many languages do you speak personally?
Well, in addition to my native vernacular, which is Dan, D-A-N, Dan, I do speak some English and some French.
English and French, okay.
Yes.
So you're
You can stop it now.
trilingual on some level.
So to speak.
Yes.
I just want to whet your appetite. You need to, eventually you'll be able to go through every flag and listen to each one from a country, I want to say a countryman, but it could be a countrywoman also, from their particular country, so you can learn a little bit more about the people that we worship with. And Moses' story and the other ones that we've recorded so far are very interesting, so I think it's worth going into. So I'm hoping that visitors will also take the opportunity. They're encouraged at the very end of the statement to click on the flag to learn more. So let's move to the next menu topic, About Us. At the menu at the very top. We're not going to spend very much time here, just briefly to go in. It talks about our pastor, another again led by our scripture. It talks about our pastor, and then it goes down and gives some brief information. This was kind of my own creation. This can be changed if you feel that there's something more important we should put about us. But it's just something I created, and I took it from information that we had out there. So if you scroll down, it has our mission statement, our vision. I can't see that far back without my glasses. It has our 10 core values, and you scroll down further, it has the distinctive purposes of Crossroads as a particular church in Presbyterian. I think there's 6 statements that deals with that as well. So let's move over to the next menu item. I'm still missing some content under education, but as you scroll down, it has each class there. If you click on any particular class, for example, click on children's program, either one, it doesn't matter. From the content that I have, it goes into details about the particular class. We have a way of being contacted, so if someone wants to know more information or anything like that, they can. On the bottom of each page, we also have the times of service, if you scroll down toward the bottom, also, and where we're located. So go back to education. Scroll down past education, you also have your small groups. So for where I have content for small groups, I have that included in there, but where there's no content, I'm still waiting for content, or I haven't had time to add it, I have that is coming soon. So with the content that I already have, I'm going to add it, and that'll be up shortly within the next week or so for content I have. If I don't have it, as soon as I get it, I'll put it up as well. Let's scroll over to the ministries. If you want to give me a picture, if when I don't have pictures, I've created something using a scripture, and I create my own background. Right. There are some that still have the fake people, as you said. So if I get the real people, I'll be happy to put it up. Okay. Now, again, the website is your website, so you can make it creative. And you will see when we get to community outreach and some of the other ones on the ministry, some people have been very creative. So however creative you want to make it, however simple you want to make it, it's your website. But it should be used as a tool to help people understand who you are. And I use the word recruitment because you kind of stimulate interest. Why would they come visit you in your class if they don't know anything about your class? So what does your class do? What are you teaching? What are you studying? What are you hoping to teach them? That's the whole point of having the scriptures there and saying that we're guided by this scripture. You should sort of explain, in my opinion, what you're doing. So where are we at? I'm sorry, you were scrolling behind my back. Okay, let's go back toward the top. Well, no, just keep scrolling down, Oh, also under each scripture, there's sort of a statement for what ministries is or what worship is. So there's a driving statement behind what this is all about, why we do what we do, why is worship important, why is community service important. So on every page, we have sort of a statement there that explains why it's important that we do these things, again, guided by our scripture. Scroll on down. Let's go to, which one is a good one? Let's look at Samaritan Fund. That's a good one, I think. Samaritan Fund Ministry. There. Click on, you can click on the picture or on read more, either one. Yeah, just sort of click. Okay. Yeah, either one works. So there's more detail. That's the content that I was provided. Let's just scroll down, okay? And from any location, you can still hit the community outreach and go to another menu item without going back to home. Again, if you have a link that you want me to, like she put an application in here so people could fill out the application and return it to us, a PDF file they can print out. So if you have links like that, we can put those in. But she did a good job of explaining what the Samaritan Fund was all about so that someone could reach out and actually submit an application. It can be emailed back to us as well. And she puts the email address that can be done. So let's go over to, let's go back over to community outreach now. Community outreach. Let's go to a new menu item, community outreach at the very top. One more over community outreach. Okay, you're going back to ministries. Community outreach at the very top. Okay. And scroll down. Same format, just looks a little different. And you'll notice I didn't put drop-down menus on the website. I want it to be a little unique. Most websites have a drop-down menu. You select from there. Your drop-down menu is your whole web page on any particular site. So you're able to click as you scroll down, read a brief statement about, before you go into that particular web page, there's a brief statement, 2 or 3 sentences to tell you what it's about. And this is on all the web pages. And then you can click Read Me or the name. In this particular one, we decided to deactivate the picture because we didn't want it to be too confusing because of the way it's designed, which picture lined up with which particular heading. So scroll down to diabetes education. I thought she did a really wonderful job on the content she gave me on that one. She has links that lead to other diabetes pages, but she did a really good job of filling in the content. It's worth reading. So I thought it was very informative. She has links in there to go to other sites where they can get additional information. So I thought she just did a wonderful job that's Vivette, by the way, Vivette Jones. She's having a diabetes meeting now, so she can't be here, but I thought she did a really wonderful job of filling that in. Okay, let's head over to worship because I don't want to hold you too long. We're going over to worship now. Yeah, yes. I'm sorry, I can't understand you. Community garden, yes, what about it? There are two, there's one reason. Okay, we can debate what's a fruit and what's a vegetable later, but let me answer the reason why. I don't have content until I get content. It's sort of just sort of a filler page right now. So once I get content, they can provide the pictures they want us to use. In fact, we'll probably use pictures of our community garden once we have the content, okay? So that's just a filler page for now. So under live stream now, it's under worship, and you scroll and you click here for live stream, and that only during live streaming would that be activated so you could actually stream the live stream. Now Roger did the recorded sermons. I thought he did a really good one. You can click on, we're going to go through each one of those on the recorded sermons. You can actually click on search by date, go up, recorded sermons and services, yes. Okay, you can search by date just by doing the drop down menu at the very top, the July or whatever month you want to go to. It'll bring up the month and you can search by the date, okay? If you go back over to worship again, or just hit the back button either way, you can scroll down, you can search by month, click on search by month. And you can just click on the month and it'll bring up the same thing that you can search in that month for a particular sermon. Go back one level and let's go search by under worship again. Yeah, you can just hit back. Then you can search by title or in this case, if you want to filter, you can also search by the speaker. Click on by speaker, all speakers at the top. Go over to the little arrow on the right-hand side of that word, all speakers. No, the little arrow here that looks down. Back. All speakers, the arrow. Go to your left, go to your right now. The arrowhead, yes. So you can pick the speaker and choose the speaker that you want to see which sermons that they preached also. You can bring that up as well, okay? So I thought he did a really good job on that. Okay, let's go back to worship again. If you scroll down, you'll also scroll down, keep going. In-person service times are listed there. Pastor Bible studies, there are special events. By the way, Pastor, eventually they'll be able to click here and do a Zoom to get on with you just by clicking on that, so at the time that it starts. Okay, special events, click on that, which is another section that I'm thankful for. Click here for special events, yes. Okay, so when there's a special event, wedding, funeral, whatever, you'll know how to direct your family and friends and visitors to go here to tell them to click on worship, click on special event, and the name of the special event would be the live stream of whatever's going on. They'll be able to click on that. And they'll also be able to do prior special events. What we're trying to do with that is prior special events, meaning something that's occurred in the past, shouldn't be available for just anyone to view. So we're going to find a way to password protect that so only family or only people they give the password out to can go there and see it. And you have to have a password after the event ends. So, but while it's live, you won't need a password or anything. Okay? Click on Given. And Bruce, this is where I'm going to need your help with. If you scroll down and click on Give. Now, what I visualize is if we can add every possible option under the drop-down menu of where it says Find up the top up there where it says Fund, I'm sorry, I can't see, I don't have my glasses on, Fund. If we can add any option for them to give, if they want to give to a particular cause, like for, let's say for feeding the hungry or something like that, or whatever choice they have here, if they can just have an option there, and they can select the option for as many as they want. They can select what they want and put in their amount and give there. So we won't have to try to list them out on a page all by themselves. Just be able to select what they want to give to and give. So that's what I'm not sure whether the software will allow that, but if it won't, you're shaking your head back there. Okay, all right, great. Okay, but it's a thought in my head. So if you can't do it, you can't, but that would be fun if we could. Okay, so that actually takes us off the web page, so you have to click back to go back to the web page. Okay, another pastoral services. That's the last one we need to look at. I guess contacts is the very last one, but pastoral services. What I visualize here is actually having a form that they could fill out when they have need and they're requesting some sort of services, And we will need to get together on those forms. We may have some already that we could fill in, but someone come way that they could actually say, this is the service that I want. And I put a little note at the bottom, I'm probably going to move to the top, that it's not necessarily just the pastor, that we do have prayer warriors, you know, we have first responders, we have elders and things like that. So it's not just only the pastor that's going to be responding to some of these things, but that's something I would need consultation with the pastor and other people to kind of figure out where we want to go with that. But that's...
So the pastor hasn't already seen this or blessed this? Because you don't just baptize people. You know, you can't just sign up to be baptized.
Okay. I sent the dummy page that I wanted people to fill in content to everyone. And again, it's not live. You don't see anything on there live, so it can be changed, and it is a living page. So, of course, you can't baptize anyone, but anyone who is a recent believer and wants to be baptized and requests to be baptized, the pastor would have to sit down and talk with them about their conversion story, I'm sure. But the request can be made, you know. But anyway, anything on the page can be changed. It's not written in stone just because we are live. And they don't have the ability to request anything at this point. It's just there, okay? Last one is Contact Us, which anytime you click on Contact Us, it takes you to this page, and at the very bottom is a form they can fill out to send us an email. Currently, that's going to the office. I have two choices that I'm thinking about here, just depends on how much traffic we get, sending it to the office, and then Nina can distribute it, or we can create, I'm sure you don't want your personal email address, we can create dummy email addresses that can be forwarded to you if you're over a ministry or something, someone wants to contact you about attending your class or being a part of the ministry that you are, some outreach service, something like that. Also, I guess the third option is even if we use your personal email address, they can't see it because all they're doing is filling out a form and it's going to some email address that they won't even ever see. But the difference is that you won't get flooded with a bunch of emails. Now, what we are going to add is a verification that you're a real human so that they can't just spam you. You're going to have to actually click a button or something to say, I'm a real human being, and it moves from there, okay? So we will be adding that. I'm glad to know that you agree, Sandy. Okay. So that's basically it. I'll take any questions you have. We do want your feedback. And we hope you enjoy the new website, that is beneficial to you. That's the way we tried to design it, so that it was easy to follow and easy to get through. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. On my phone, when I go to our website, it's exactly that until I get to the map and it shows you Redan Road in New York.
I don't know why that would happen. I don't know the difference between a cell phone and a computer when that happens as far as a map. So, but that's something we're actually pulling from Google or somewhere like that, so it's not something we created. And so I would have to look at what Google is doing. I have no idea why it's doing that. Yes, ma'am.
What's your preferred method of providing suggestions?
None would be my preferred. Honestly, just email me or call me. I'm pretty easy to get in contact with, okay? Yes, sir.
Give me an example of something that you mentioned that events would be archived, but then there's some that would be protected. Give me an example of an event that would be for members only in terms of being archived.
Okay, there's a members only section. I'm glad you used that word because I want to show you that. But anything that we record is archived, but that would be password protected, would be like a funeral. John's funeral is not something that should still be visible for the general public at this late date. But family may say, I want to go back and look at something. Now, I know that's not a good example because of the bad sound we had, but that's not the point. It's used as an example. But I'm saying that something like that would be something that would be password protected that only a few people could see. We wouldn't give that password out to just anyone, you know. Yes? Yes, wedding would be the same thing, you know, or any special event that we have here that we wouldn't want to be there. So we would, and in the future, any special event we have after it's over, it's going to be on YouTube as an unlisted link. So it's there, but unless we make it private, unlisted, or public. And so as opposed to making it private so no one can view it, unlisted says that you have to have permission to get in there, essentially, is what it boils down to. Okay? Yes, but most folks won't know the link. So, again, that's another way of protecting you. Whoever you give the link to someone, yes, they know, but most people are not going to give it out to millions of people. They're only going to give it out to people they want to see it. And then that's up to them if they want to do that. No, it's not the same as having a password, but it is as secure as having a password. See, it's not a problem for other people to view it. All we want to do is just make sure just some random millions of people are not looking at it, is all we're saying. Okay? Anything else?
Is there a committee that is working on this that decides content, or is it just, or I didn't know. Is there a group that is over this?
The AV team, and I did sort of introduce it to session on a number of occasions, but honestly, it's just me and Demario right now doing the grunt work of getting it done. Demario, Collins. Okay. So I have made this available for people to give me feedback. It is basically just me, if you're talking about from Crossroads Church. I don't know that we would have gotten this done in committee, but we started talking about this a couple of years back, and so the group of us sort of laid out a basic design, and we took it from there. Okay, so I don't expect it's going to please everybody. I don't, to be perfectly honest. But I do know that in order to get it done, someone had to sit down and do the grunt work of designing it, putting in the content, building the page, and there are 1,000 different designs out there. And so, yes, there will be things that, like you said about baptism, all that stuff is out there. But it's been out there now for a couple of months now for all of us to look at. And I only started getting some content in the last week. So it's been out there for a while. Yes. It is live as of now. The talking about the HTML, not the HTML. I'm sorry. Yes, the address is what I'm trying to say. Yes, it is crossroads-pc.com. Okay. And, okay. Okay. People won't know who's fake and who's not real. Yes. Okay. Okay, so here's where I'm getting confused at, okay? And I'm gonna be very honest. I asked for content. I asked for it by the 1st of this month, okay? So that I had time to change everything before we went live. And when you ask about a committee, here's my thinking on it. We would be in committee forever, and because sooner or later it's gotta get done. And we've been 2 years in the pandemic, and everybody's been seeing this web page that wasn't very functional, and people have been complaining about it. Okay, people have said lots of things about it. So we're trying to get somewhere. And those fake pictures, it's not something that's going to prevent anyone. If they went to the old website and they were okay with that, and I find it hard to believe that they're not going to be okay with this. When you look at the two websites, it's night and day. So are we going to get hung up on fake pictures? Or are we just going to say we have a better website, let's build it and make it even better? I'm open to making it better. I have no problem with it. Just tell me what you want out there. Give me content and I'll put it out there. But I have to have the page built. I can't build new pages on a regular basis. So those dummy pages are there until I fill in with content. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you made it, so it exists. So if people want to give you pictures and stuff, do they send it to your email? How do they get the information that they want?
They send it to my email the way the other people have. Yeah.
And then that way then you add it up.
Yeah, and I add it.
And we get it updated. How often will you be updating the site as you get stuff?
I'm gonna do it as frequent as my time allows because I still do have a full-time gig called a job, you know. So, yeah. But it doesn't take. I mean, it takes a while to sit there and design the.
I want to say something and then I'll
Okay.
speak, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
First, I want to thank you for you and the other gentlemen who have taken this from the idea to actually making it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
job that we all understand, we all work as well, are actively volunteering. So thank you for what you do. And so then when people want to add stuff, they just send it to your email, and then you'll update it at least once a month, or earlier than that if you're not. Thank you, Evelyn.
Well, thank you. But it's going until we get it completed, we're going to be working on it more frequently than once a month. So she and I will continue to add content and change on the website until we get it done. So it's 90% complete, but it will be completed fully. As soon as I have more content, it'll be completed fully. So, right. Yes, ma'am. Well, she's watching us live. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. So, thank you all. Again, I'm open to your suggestions, and I'll make the changes as quickly as we possibly can once you give me the content that needs to be changed. If I have your content and I didn't get it up, it's simply because I didn't have time, but I will get it up there, okay? If you want different pictures, let me know. Thank you all for spending the time. I do appreciate it. Okay, take care.